new babe.
So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy L, and I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. Listen, y'all hear that? Bro, I kid you not, like, everybody in this house is asleep right now. The dogs, the kids, everybody out. You know what I mean? Everybody out in this house right now. Queen gone somewhere with some friends and having a few drinks, I think, right now. So she's gone. The boys is knocked out. It's me time. You know what I mean? Me time. You know what that is like. If you got kids, you cherish these moments. So I came down here to chill with y'all for a little bit, bro. So we're going to get into, man, 10 scary videos that need justice, man. And I ain't even got nothing in my red cup, man. I was going to toast and salute y'all right now. I'm feeling like that kind of nice. Let's get to it, man. Don't forget, new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and run the likes up, baby. Run the likes up. Let's go.
Naya Rivera was a famous actress who once starred in the hit television show series known as Glee. In July of 2020, she went missing, and the sheriff's office posted this video of her last known whereabouts in hopes of finding her. What seems to be a simple boat outing with her son has only raised more questions than answers from her concerned fans. Comment sections are flooded with people who believe something sinister happened on.
I think I remember this story, because then she died trying and saved her son while dying or something like that. I can't remember. I think I briefly remember this story.
The day of her disappearance, and I wanted to give an analysis on the points these commenters bring up. For example, no one knows why Naya parked so far away from the boat, or why she is unable to park between the lines at 1 minute and 10 seconds. I think it's odd, but not necessarily a sign that something is definitely wrong. Next, when Naya gets out of the car, some people claim that she walks too far ahead of her child and doesn't look back to make sure he's...
I ain't gonna lie, that is kind of weird with the whole parking situation. Even if it is out in the, you know what I mean? Like, it's not too many cars out there. It's still pretty weird.
Doing okay. They think she is in too much of a hurry and not in her right mind. I think this is a valid point, but there's no audio, so we don't know if she's talking to him over her shoulder to make sure he's okay. He doesn't seem to have much of a problem keeping up, so I think people are exaggerating here. They get on the boat and Naya has enough experience to untie it from the dock and start it herself. She obviously has done this before, and seems to feel comfortable enough at this point to go boating without supervision. It's a calm day as they pull away, and nothing else seems that out of the ordinary. Yet somehow this accomplished actress does not return. Days later, her son was found sleeping on the boat by himself. His life jacket was on, and Naya's life jacket was found on the boat but not on her body. For some reason, she was not wearing hers. Exactly what happened from there is not clear. The young boy describes being in the water at some point and getting pushed onto the boat by his mother. He turned around and saw Naya disappear under the water with his own eyes. It was the last time he ever saw her. Nobody would discover her until days later, when authorities identified her via dental records. Some commenters are saying that she did all of this on purpose, but from what I've read, she loved her child dearly and would never do such a thing. And as far as I'm concerned, this video does not prove she did anything wrong. On October 27, 2018, a 26-year-old post office worker named Kiera Coles went missing in Chicago, and her disappearance has never been explained. A neighbor's CCTV camera shows Kiera is about to head to work in her postal uniform, but instead of walking to her car like usual, she instead walks up and down the street, passing by her residence 2 times before crossing the street and disappearing for good. Pacing back and forth in front of her house indicates that Kiera was in a state of confusion, if not distress. Nobody else is seen on camera, but I think she could have felt watched and didn't want someone to see where she was parked or where she lives. Kiera later calls out of work at the post office, which is weird considering she was dressed and ready to leave, and she is never found or heard from again. Her friends told authorities that they didn't think she would disappear on purpose and hadn't been acting strangely lately. She was pregnant with a child and unlikely to do anything out of the ordinary or leave unannounced. To further add to the mystery, her mother searches Kiara's car later on and finds her daughter's purse and phone are still there, but her keys and wallet are missing. I think it's possible that Kiara was forced into a car by someone and made to drive to an ATM to make a cash withdrawal, which would explain why her wallet was gone. And if she intended to go to work, then it's only logical that her keys would have been on her too. Police suspect foul play and are offering a reward of $46,000 to whoever can provide more information about her whereabouts and help bring justice to her and her family. They've run out of leads, and thus far, no one has stepped forward to supply them with more information. I'm hoping on the off chance that someone out there knows more. In March of 2013, a woman named Eliza...
I feel like they gotta invest in more cameras, bro. Like, technology is where we're at today, and we need more cameras on the street. We should be able to see so many different camera angles on the street. You know what I mean? And I know it's like, but privacy issues, that too. So it's kind of like a fine line you want to kind of toe right there. But at the same time, man, a lot of people are getting abducted, kidnapped, all that type of stuff like that. You know what I mean? So we got to find some kind of way to do better to be able to see different angles, man. Better satellite, something. I don't know what the resolution is, but we got to figure out something else.
Sherman had her life taken while going to meet her divorce attorney. CCTV video shows a mysterious figure running away from where Eliza was later found. The mysterious person running away is all bundled up from head to toe and has their face concealed in a successful attempt to keep their identity from the street cameras. They seem to be holding something under their arm, perhaps hiding the instrument they've just used to end Eliza's life with. Police are unable to locate any other surveillance video of the suspect and have no idea what they were driving or where they went afterwards. Facial recognition technology was unable to provide their true identity. No one has been identified in over 7 years and the case has gone cold. Wow. And then there's the subject of Eliza's divorce attorney, who actually lied to police about his whereabouts and was convicted for it. He falsely texted that he was waiting for her in his office when he had actually left long ago. Why he would leave his office early when they had an appointment is a mystery, unless that is, he somehow knew she wasn't going to make it to the appointment, though the circumstances are curious. Nothing has been proven, and so no suspects, including himself, have been convicted for her disappearance. On March 6th of 2015, CCTV video at a bus stop shows a woman walking down Wellington Street in England late at night from a pub. Behind her walks a man who she later describes as having black hair and in his early 20s. The man starts a far distance away but quickly gains on her without arousing suspicion. By the time they are out of camera, he is practically right behind her, and yet he remains quiet enough not to get her attention, like he's done this many times before. It's a well-lit street, but that doesn't stop him from making his move. She never turns around and doesn't stand a chance against him. I can't go into detail about what happens next. She survived, but she will never be the same emotionally again from the traumatic events that occurred. I'm
hoping they had better camera angle. Look at this camera angle, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we gotta figure something out better than this.
Man is also responsible for committing similar acts on an 18-year-old girl a month prior to this video. I don't think he was ever caught, and no doubt he will continue to do the same thing until he is brought to justice. This happened years ago, so who knows how many others he has done this to in the time since. There's a £5,000 reward for anybody who can help police. The CCTV video is grainy and it happened a long time ago, but hopefully somebody recognizes a clothing article or something. Anything to help catch this maniac before he strikes again. At 3:15 p.m. on February the 9th, 2004, a woman named Maura Murray withdrew $280 from an ATM. She looked serious, even frowning perhaps, or maybe I'm looking too deeply into it.
Do it look serious or look like she's been beaten up? Am I tripping, or do it look like her face has been beat up?
Either way, this is the last recorded appearance before she disappeared in a way that's never been explained. 4 hours after this video was taken, multiple witnesses saw Maura Murray on the side of the road with a broken down car. A school bus driver pulled over to help out, but she told him that she had already called AAA. even though phone records later revealed that she hadn't, and so he left her alone, but not before reporting the bizarre experience to the police himself. When the cops arrived 20 minutes later, they found some of her personal belongings were in the car, but missing were her credit cards and cell phone. Maura Murray herself was nowhere to be found. For some strange reason, she simply wandered away from her vehicle after it broke down. None of her credit cards were ever used, and her cell phone was not used either, which probably means she didn't make it very far, and yet her body was never found. Police think she might have been planning to take her own life, but if she was planning to do this, then she would obviously have no use for money, so why would she need to take out almost $300 beforehand? Maura appears to be alone in the ATM video, so it's likely nobody is making her do any of this. The police have never been able to figure out her motives or if she's still alive. Maura called out of work that day and wrote she was having relationship problems with her boyfriend, but whether this was of her own free will or if someone was making her do this to cover their tracks remains to be determined, and quite possibly never will be properly explained. Nothing else happened for almost 12 years until a rather sinister video was uploaded on YouTube. This video, titled "Where I Put Maura," shows an empty barn in the middle of the woods. A man is laughing over a picture of Maura Murray, but we never do get to see what they look like. Nobody has been able to identify where this barn is or who uploaded this video. It could be a false lead or her actual final resting place. We'll never know for sure, and police, for whatever reason, apparently have stopped trying to find out. These scary stories sound made up until you see the video evidence that goes with it. That's when these scary moments...
I just can't stop looking at her face in that. It looked like she was beat up there. It looked like it.
Become all too real. Franco TV is one of the few ghost hunters I've come across who isn't afraid to investigate solo. In fact, he prefers it. Charging into the middle of the action and staying put is his style. Rarely does he run. On September 7th, 2018, Franco TV goes to an abandoned house that's way out in the Florida forest. I can't tell you the exact location, but I can tell you the name, the Edison House. What's inside leaves him a sweat-soaked mess. The address is so secret that he had to track down some of the previous owners to find it, and since no one can stand living here for more than a few months, there were plenty of previous owners to choose from. It was accidentally built over a gravesite according to them, and that's all they will say because it's so cursed that just talking about it could possibly bring about years of misfortune.
How do you accidentally do that, though? Yeah, you know what I forgot to tell y'all? Funny thing happened, right? With your whole house and everything, your entire house. It's a funny thing, man. Yeah, we built it over a graveyard. Like an actual graveyard. You know what I mean? We knocked a few thousand out off the price, but you know, we kind of messed that up and we can't go back. Like, how do you even do that? Like, these people are the worst.
None of this concerns Franco enough to keep him from going inside. Through the condemned door is a trashed interior that fills the investigator with the type of dread that burns stronger with every step. Everything about it feels off and wrong in a way he can't explain. Past a crumbling kitchen is a small kid's room that feels colder than the rest of the house. And as he's reading but not adhering to the simple instructions on the wall,
get out.
he hears the giggle of a child. The laughter comes from behind him, practically in his ear, and he turns against the wall with a mysterious red stain that looks like it's squirted out of someone's neck. Across from him, this witch-like face appears against the window. It's most visible at approximately 3 minutes and 12 seconds, eyes and all. Undeterred, he goes to where it was standing and looks inside the room he was just in. As he's doing this, the same face now regards him through a crack in the doorway at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. It doesn't look like it's part of the door, but I guess it could be. The upstairs is cramped and uncomfortably hot. Down the hall is a red handprint that could belong to a child, except it's too high up on the wall. Perhaps they were struggling with someone, trying not to be carried into this room. As Franco stares into the room, Dozens of comments point out this figure staring back out at him from within the closet, just like the far wall says. I couldn't really see anything at first, but when I did, I suddenly wished I didn't try so hard. Something's there. Franco doesn't spend much time in this room because he gets an especially bad feeling, but one thing I noticed was this jet black spirit orb float up towards him and disappear. That's not a bug. The anxiety he gets from the second floor is a little too much, even for him, and look what happens when he goes back downstairs.
I'm hearing all sorts of noises everywhere, and I don't have no cover at all, and I'm in the middle of the forest. So that's kind of like one of the reasons why it's going to be a little bit weird for me, because I can't deal with that.
This just so happens to be one of the only times he films behind.
I'm tripping though, cause why is the light? Well, I'm guessing. I don't know. The light should be facing on you so they can see you in the camera. So it's like you knew that was gonna happen. I don't know. Well, why is the light pointed that way? Normally, if you're talking into the camera, you want the light kind of pointed towards you, so the light is giving you. We can see your face. You know what I mean?
Behind him, so maybe this part is set up. Anyway, this was back when a supernatural challenge called Charlie Charlie was popular, and so he decides to play around before calling it quits. He sets up 2 pencils and waits for the ghost to respond.
Is there anyone in this house right now? Is there anyone that's
I don't know about you, but I see no strain.
Do you wish me to leave this area?
A closer look under the light at 9 minutes and 17 seconds shows that nothing is tied around the pencil at all. He follows its advice and goes outside. By now, Franco
Maybe I'm tripping, but that did look a little crazy right there.
is soaked in sweat and still hearing movements that I don't think he's making up because they sound too far away, deeper in the forest.
And from there, I'm gonna head home. After that, I'm done. I gotta get out of here.
Part of him wants to leave, but he knows he has to explore the surrounding property because it's where more spirits roam around their unmarked graves. While staring out into the wilderness, he hears them.
What the is that?
It's not traffic because there's no roads out here, and exactly 2 seconds later it's accompanied by a voice warning him never to return.
Holy.
Advice that Franco TV decides to take as he walks away from the Edison house with the blank, horrified stare of a man who has been shown far too much. Morgan Adams is a popular YouTuber who doesn't ordinarily focus on paranormal content at all. So when she recently suspected that her house was haunted, you know I had to take a look. Let's go over the evidence and see if her suspicions are correct. She claims to hear tapping and scratching on the walls, which could be
Just orbs just keep floating by her. Yo, that's too much.
an animal, but then there's whispers too. When this happens, she uses Snapchat and almost always detects a second face nearby. She has named the spirit Angie and it seems to have become quite attached. Angie often responds to her own name.
Angie! Oh my god! Angie, you have a lot of new friends that would like to say hi. Oh my...
Those Snapchat could
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that is a little weird right there. How is that? It may be just a glitch in the app, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
be mistaking the shelf behind her for a winking face, and these 2 objects on the wall for eyes. Angie typically lurks around the corner of the house reserved for overnight visitors. Coincidentally, the same area where her dog Ollie absolutely refuses to go. Even with the promise of a treat, Ollie will only allow himself to go so far before he refuses to budge. Some dogs have trouble keeping their balance on hardwood floors and can
That's just a well-trained dog.
actually develop a fear of them over time. I thought that could be Ollie's deal because he puts one paw on the wood and stops at 9 minutes and 8 seconds. But at 8 minutes and 52 seconds, he has no problem walking on the same type of floor, so that can't be why. I think Morgan Adams could be giving a verbal command for Ollie to sit when she says okay at 9 minutes and 8 seconds. You tell me if Ollie is doing a trick or if he senses something and is too nervous to go forward.
Come on. Okay, come on.
I don't think it's fake because then she tells him to come on and he still won't move. And when Morgan gets to the end of the hall, she hears a noise and shudders. Plus, Ollie isn't the only animal acting weird. Her cat will freeze at the door like someone is on the other side, and Morgan even hears knocking sometimes.
Cut it out right now. Stop.
There's never anything there, and yet the cat stares at the wall as if something has its attention.
Literally, I'm gonna freak out if you don't stop. Oh my orbs, literally.
An orb of light also flies in the direction that her cat is staring. Odd indeed. Oh, and there's also this strange Snapchat photo taken in the middle of the night. It could be something photoshopped, but I see something more to it. To the left of the shadow person, I see a face on the wall, and another peeking out from behind the covers. It almost looks like the exact same from a photo taken at the mountain pass, where Angie the spirit first followed Morgan home. And if you're wondering where Angie is in the photo, check out Morgan's shoulder. The dark hair is not hers. Finally, one night, her dad lets it slip that the property was built near an old burial ground. Tell me if you think he is telling the truth here or not.
Do you think our
Kinda like, but I got a sweet deal on it though. At what cost and expense?
house is haunted?
The way he pauses and looks away makes me think he could have been trying to avoid saying anything that could make his daughter worry any more than she already has been. So is all of this real or fake? I'm 50-50 on this one, so your opinions will help me decide. Way of Vlogs is a YouTuber with a hidden talent that he's only recently begun to share with the world, a skill that he says only takes patience and practice to master.
Bro, you hit the table. Table looked like it could be like at an incline a little bit. Stop it. Just stop. How dumb do you think we are? It picked up speed as it got closer to the end, as a natural incline would do. Start off and then a more...
With a burst of mental energy, he can make a can roll towards him. Or maybe he pushed the table to make the can roll forward and yelled to cover up the noise.
No strings whatsoever. So you can tell, see, nothing attached to it. No magnets inside. So you can see I'm shaking around, no magnets.
I personally think it might have been the latter, but watch again and tell me what you see. Next,
Yes, he pushed the table.
he makes the object fall over without touching it. There could be a fishing wire in his hand, but if so, it should show up easily against his black clothes, and it does not, at least not as far as I can tell. He definitely doesn't push on the table this time either. Still, if he could have made the object fall the other way, then it would show he was not using a fishing wire once and for all. I don't know about you, but at this point I'm still uncertain. So I guess people must have been saying he was using a string, because in the next video he holds his hands out to show he is not using one at all.
I'm just not buying it. I'm not buying it.
However, as one commenter pointed out, he could have a string wrapped around his toe or something. It does kind of look like he might be moving his foot, but it's hard to say. But when he shows the cup without any hesitation, it makes what he says seem kind of legit.
Now just make sure that there isn't any strings or anything involved, look. I'll use my shirt.
I don't really analyze many videos like this because I don't necessarily believe in them, but vlogs like this are enough to make me wonder. Give me your thoughts about this subject and tell me if you think this is fake or if he's able to somehow move objects through sheer will. I've got a challenge for you.
I would have to see it done like right in front of me for me to believe that one. I'm just not.
One. This port city in western Saudi Arabia looks like the aftermath of a building collapse, or else some kind of terrible eruption, but it's none of that. It's actually just starting and the worst is yet to come. The massive plume of smoke spreads evenly across the horizon, and at 1 minute and 15 seconds you briefly get a glimpse of where it finally ends. There's no outrunning this event, and finding shelter is almost pointless. The cloud is growing taller by the minute as it heads towards them. The air is becoming gritty and it's getting harder to breathe. Vehicles desperately try to get away at the last second, but it's too late for any of them to get far, nor the cameraman for that matter, who seems resigned to his fate and makes no such attempt. This is a massive sandstorm, and if you haven't found shelter by now, you're in big trouble. The winds pick up and everything around him starts creaking unsteadily.
Ya, nandito na. Nandito na ang Sandstorm. Parating na. Sige, sige.
Someone tell me what his last words are, and if you think
Look like a car just drove into it.
he made it through this event,
Yan, Parating ka.
those are the last recorded moments before I assume the sand broke his camera. We may not get to see what happens next, but I doubt it was anything good. Either way, there's something about the possibility of this whole town getting buried alive that makes this video creepy beyond words. A man with a backpack is casually
Yeah, that's crazy. I've seen some sandstorms, but nothing to that magnitude. Not like that, bro. You know what I mean? Mine was very, very mild that I saw. No, that there, you're gonna start praying to something, you know? Like, I'd be thinking it's the end of the world. Like, oh, it's time, y'all. I'd be going crazy. Y'all want to be around me. Not with nothing like that. I'm gonna make you feel too bad. You know what I'm saying? But y'all get at me in the comment section, man. How do y'all feel about some of these videos? And did you agree with me, what I was saying? Let me know, all right? And run the likes up. It's your boy L. Till the next reaction, I'm out. Y'all stay solid. Hey.